Good morning from Danville, Illinois, and welcome to the NJCAA Division II Men's Basketball National Tournament at the Mary Miller Center. This is Pima Aztecs Basketball Radio, an audio-only broadcast, as the undefeated Aztecs begin their pursuit of perfection and a national title. Brian Sirk with you in the broadcast booth, and the only thing standing in the way of the Aztecs today, the Davidson-Davie Storm, a program that knows this stage well, making their sixth straight trip to the national tournament, and the 13 seed comes in with momentum after a first-round win over Fort Scott, and they'll look to lean on that experience as they take on one of the favorites here this week. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this opening round matchup, and first for the Davidson-Davie Storm, it's Dane Stewart, KT Tatum, Jalen Wilkerson, Tavian Tangora, and Nigel Howard. That's the starting five for 19th-year head coach Matt Ridge and the Davidson-Davie Storm. And now the starting five for the undefeated Pima Aztecs. It's no changes to head coach Brian Peabody's side. Isaiah Hill, Rowan McKenzie, Isaac Johnson, Brock Mendoza, and Mason Hunt. Pima in the home grays, as we're typically used to seeing them on the Aztec Sports Network. Meanwhile, Davidson-Davie in the navy blue uniforms, with gray down the side and white numbers and Storm across the chest. Davidson-Davie ended the season 27-6, but after taking down Fort Scott yesterday, it's now a 28-6 overall record and finished 21-4 in conference play. They are on a 7-game winning streak, and as we mentioned, this is their sixth straight trip to Danville, Illinois. They finished runners-up in 2021 and in 2022. So we'll see what the Pima Aztecs have in store for us here this morning, wherever you may be tuning in from, whether you're watching here in Danville, it's still only 9 a.m. local time, or if you're listening in from Tucson, Arizona, 7 a.m. So thanks for having your morning coffee with us this morning. Just getting our final introductions to both sides, and while we've got a chance, we can kind of run down some of the names to keep an ear out for, especially for the newly introduced Storm. It's going to be more of a ground and pound kind of offense. That's what we saw against Fort Scott. Tavian Tangora and Nigel Howard, the main focus is on offense. The Storm only shot 11 three-pointers. They did knock down 5 of them, so they do shoot pretty efficiently from 3. They just don't take too many shots from beyond the arc. Officials this morning, Patrick Remus from Missouri, Johnny Getting from Iowa, and Will Dotson also from Iowa. Opening tip between Howard and Mendoza, and we are just about set to get Pima's national tournament underway. The ball is up, and the opening tap won by Mendoza and into the hands of Isaiah Hill. Expect to have a physical start to this game. The Storm actually fell behind 17-2, really got punched in the mouth by Fort Scott as Mason Hunt has it. And now Hill. He'll drive inside on the elbow, back outside. Hunt, right wing three is in. It rattles through from beyond the arc, and the Aztecs take a 3-0 lead just 30 seconds in. In that opening matchup against Fort Scott, Davidson-Davie did let up a lot of threes, but Fort Scott didn't knock down that many of them. Only shot 25% from beyond the arc. But Pima, a different monster in that regard as a drive inside, no good from Tatum, and it's rebounded away by the Aztecs. Hill races across the timeline. He's picked up by Stewart. Cross-court pass, McKenzie a 3, and he rattles it through. An early 6-0 lead thanks to back-to-back threes from the Aztecs. Just a minute in, and Pima leads 6-0. Exactly what Pima was looking to start off with, an early lead to settle down the nerves. Wilkerson with a screen from Howard. He has it now. Nigel Howard, number 50. This morning as Tangora bodies down low against Mendoza. And the Storm get on the board for the first time at 6-2. 18:30 remaining in the first half. McKenzie over to Hunt, still on the outside of the perimeter. Hill with a screen from Hunt. He'll try his luck from 3. Banker no good. It bounces off back rim and the backboard as Tatum collects the board and crosses the timeline. Wilkerson, he works on Johnson, gets inside. Johnson with a hand in his face, but Wilkerson slots it down. It's now 6-4. After back-to-back buckets inside from Davidson-Davie. 2 different styles to start threes. Raining down for the Aztecs as McKenzie tries his luck again. That doesn't fall. Battle for the rebound. Bodies hit the deck. Hunt tries to get to it. Instead, it's Nigel Howard for the Storm as Davidson-Davie bring it across the timeline with KT Tatum. Davidson-Davie slow things down as Wilkerson has it right in front of the Pima bench to our right. As Wilkerson rises from the elbow, that doesn't fall. McKenzie collides with Mendoza but does collect the rebound. Pima going right to left from our broadcast position in the broadcast booth here at the Dick Shockey Court. Hunt, he's on the perimeter. His pass deflected, but it goes into the hands of Hill. Still on the near side on the left wing. McKenzie wants it. Instead, it's Hunt straightaway 3, and he swishes it down. Make it 3 threes to start for Pima, and they lead 9-4, 3 minutes in. It seems like Pima can only shoot the 3, but a fantastic start nonetheless as Howard rises from the mid-range. That doesn't fall. Rebound tipped around. Hill has it, then thrown away into the hands of Tangora. He drives in, bodies up Mendoza straight up and gets it to fall. Tangora, the big bruiser down low for the Storm. He has 4 points. Pima lead 9-6, 3.5 minutes played already. As Hill drives inside, it's tipped out of play by Tangora. And a stoppage with 6:33 to go in the first half. An early substitution for Davidson-Davie as Dre Huff checks in. Dre Huff did not play in that opening round against Fort Scott. But he is the best three-point shooter on the team for the Storm. He averages 12 points per game and 44% from beyond the arc. So the first we'll see of him this tournament as Mendoza gets it down low on the inbound from Hill. He bodies up Tangora and a foul called, the first one of the morning. And that sends Brock Mendoza to the free throw line to shoot a pair. That's something that Fort Scott did well, at least early. They forced the 2 bigs down low of Howard and Tangora to get into foul trouble as Mendoza's first is swished through, make it 10-6. the score. The first points that have come from inside the arc. First 9 points all came from 3, 6 from Hunt, 3 from McKenzie, and now 1 here from Mendoza as he takes a couple of dribbles and hits back iron on the second. Rebound, no Hunt. Back outside is still second chance opportunity as Hunt. Heat check 3 from the left wing is no good. Tipped up in the air and Tangora collects the board. Still 10-6 as we tick down past 16:15 to go in the first half. Howard on over to Huff. He drives inside, now back outside he goes. Right on the NJCAA logo here at Danville Community College. Huff calls out the play. Shot clock winds down to 7. He works one-on-one on Hunt. Huff, step back to a elbow jumper, and that rattles through. 2-point game, 10-8 your score, 4 minutes in. Hill with a screen from Hunt. He drives back outside. It's tipped by Wilkerson all the way back to the backcourt. McKenzie able to retrieve. 2-on-1. Hunt almost has it turned over. It's Hill on the left wing. His pass to Johnson, all kind of helter-skelter. Johnson's second effort is good. First 2 points for Isaac Johnson, who leads the team in scoring. He averages 17 points on 72% shooting, and it's a 12-8 score, 5 minutes in. A media stoppage at the next break. Pass down low, Tangora. Again, he wants to work one-on-one against Mendoza, but he travels. Great defense from Mendoza as he just stays put, and Tangora walks his way and sends us to the first media stoppage. 12-8 your score, 15:09 to play in the first half. You're listening to Pima Basketball on the Aztec Sports Network. Back from the timeout, 15:09 to play in the first half. 12-8 Pima lead over Davidson-Davie. And some changes for the Aztecs out of the timeout. The new 5 introduced by head coach Brian Peabody. It's G.J. Graham who has the basketball now as he crosses the timeline along with Fiegels, Green, Hunt, and Hill. Those are the 5 for the Aztecs. Hunt on over to Fiegels. He's in the corner, defended tightly by Wilkerson. Now Graham in that same corner, left wing. Down low is Green. He tries to body up Tangora. He's already with 1 personal foul. Let's see if we can get him another as Fiegels catch and shoot 3 from the opposite wing is good. Pima raining down threes, 4 threes already, and they lead 15-8. Hunt, McKenzie, and Fiegels have been superb to start from beyond the arc as Wilkerson defended tightly by Graham. Huff on the far side works on Hunt. On over to Stewart. He drives inside, gets a step on Graham. Green's help defense not in time as it's laid up and in off the glass. 15-10, 6 minutes in. As Graham looks to the bench for the play call. He's defended tightly by Wilkerson. Gets inside. Skip pass, 3 to Hunt in the left wing. He's good. Mason Hunt rains down another 3 threes for the Prescott native, and the Aztecs lead 18-10 in a timeout called by Davidson-Davie. A 30-second as the Aztecs lead by 8, just 6 minutes in. This isn't what Pima do all the time by raining threes in, but it can certainly work, especially with how good Davidson-Davie's defense is on the interior. Head coach Brian Peabody and the entire staff so far this week have worked on the catch-and-shoot threes to drive inside and work the perimeter, and so far The personnel has made it work, with the Aztecs ahead 18-10, 14 to go in the first half. The five that come in out of the timeout for the Storm: Howard, Wilkerson, Huff, along with Lowry, the first we see of him, and Stewart. Same five for Pima. So back into the court we go. Howard, he's defended by Green on the perimeter. Wilkerson, he drives in, free throw line jumper as he rises against Hunt. Didn't hit anything, but Lowry able to collect and drop it down off the glass. 18-12, 6.5 played. Fiegel's catch and shoot three in transition's no good. Off back iron. A rebound up for is Stewart. Wilkerson thought about the three. He's on the near side, then a long two instead, and he vibrates it through. Back-to-back tough jumpers from the Storm. 18-14, they won't go away. Hunt, he faces up, then rises from the mid-range. That doesn't fall. Stewart collects another rebound. He races forward, 3-on-3. Catch and shoot three from Lowry from the right wing is left short, and Green collects the carom. Hill tells everyone to calm down as he crosses the Jaguar logo at center court. 7 minutes played, 18-14. Hunt, he directs traffic. Cut inside is Hill, 2-on-1. He drives in but travels. One too many steps as he tried to Euro step past Howard. And a turnover will result in some substitutions. For the Storm, Tatum returns, as does Tangora. Still just one foul from either side so far. 7 minutes played, not exactly what you would have expected. And for Pima, some changes as well. Tavian Brown checks in for the first time, and Brock Mendoza returns to defend Tangora. And right on cue, Tangora, he steps back into a fadeaway J, and that's good. 2-point game, 18-16, Pima lead. Johnson over to Graham on the right wing. Defended tightly by Tatum. Skip pass, Fiegel's, his catch and shoot three. Left short, Tangora kicks it on over to Tatum. He crosses 3-on-3. Will hold things up on the far side left wing. Huff now all the way back at midcourt. He works on Fiegel's 1-on-1. He wants to watch that clock bleed dry and not allow Pima to work in transition as Tangora's three is good. Only his third three-pointer of the season. And just like that, Davidson-Davie take a 19-18 lead and lead for the first time. Fiegel's catch and shoot three is no good. Johnson's putback is, though. Off the right side of the rim, and Johnson snuck in from behind Tangora. And it's 20-19. A Pima lead. Next stoppage sends us to a media break. Some high-efficient shooting from both sides. The Storm with just one three-point attempt, and it went down. That was Tangora as he works down low. Rejected by Graham. He tries to save it. It ends up out of play. Great help defense from G.J. Graham, and that sends us to a media break. 11-18 to play in the first half. 1-point game, 20-19, Pima lead against Davidson-Davie. And you're listening to Pima Basketball on the Aztec Sports Network. Out of the media break, 11-18 to play in the first half. 20-19 the score with the Aztecs ahead of Davidson-Davie. An inbound right on the baseline for the Davidson-Davie Storm with 6 on the shot clock. Tatum set to trigger. All the way up top it goes to Stewart. Not the best three-point shooter. Instead, down low, Bangura. He bangs his body up against Mendoza. His left-handed hook shot is good. Bangura, make it Tangora, locked in from inside the painted area. And Davidson-Davie lead 21-20. Johnson, he drives baseline in between three. Catch and shoot three from McKenzie. Is left short, shooter's touch, almost drops down, hits every part of the rim, and it's tipped out of play by Mendoza, and Davidson-Davie will come the other way with the basketball. Isaiah Hill checks in for Tavian Brown, and the five out there for the Aztecs. It's Johnson, McKenzie, Hunt, Mendoza, and Hill. Cam Flippin checks in for the first time for Davidson-Davie. He's out there with Stewart, Tangora, Tatum, and Howard. 9 minutes played, 21-20. Davidson-Davie with the lead and the basketball as Tatum saunters across the timeline. And if you are tuning in on the Aztec Sports Network, it's early in Tucson time, so thanks for tuning in. Tangora. Cross-court pass. Here's Flippin on the near side, right in front of the Pima bench. Back up top. Shot clock winds down to 7. That's the game plan for Davidson-Davie here this morning as Tatum drives in. Then his step-back J is rattled down and through. 23-20 as Davidson-Davie have done a fantastic job shooting from the mid-range. Just about halfway through the opening half, 23-20 Davidson-Davie as Hunt's catch and shoot straight away three. No good. Mendoza can't collect the board. It collides and it ends up out of play. And Pima keep it on the baseline left. And after some complaining, it'll go the other way. Looked like the right call to switch the side of the basketball, so Davidson-Davie will come the opposite way on the attacking side for the Storm as Tatum operates as the point guard once more and crosses the Jaguar logo at Dick Shockley Court. Stewart, pass down low, intercepted by Mendoza, intended for Tangora. This is where Pima love to be in transition as Johnson able to kick out Hunt. Inside he goes, and the left-handed layup is good. 23-22 your score. The Storm still ahead of the Aztecs as Davidson-Davie again want to slow things down. This is similar to what we saw in the South Mountain game, where Pima narrowly escaped defeat 51-50, where South Mountain didn't want Pima to have the basketball too much because they are the highest scoring team in the country as Tangora spins inside, then fades away and drops down another. A lot of teams don't like mid-range jumpers. Davidson-Davie love it as Hunt's catch and shoot three on the opposite end is nylon. It's pure from Mason Hunt, and we're tied at 25. 9 minutes to go in the first half. The three is keeping Pima afloat because at the moment Davidson-Davie are having whatever they want from the mid-range as Tatum will try his luck from the right elbow. That time it doesn't fall, and three Aztecs collect the rebound as Hill crosses the timeline. Hunt, another three, is pure. Mason Hunt keeps raining down threes. It's a 28-25 lead for the Aztecs. 8:35 to play in the opening half. Timeout, Davidson-Davie, just a 30-second break. And we can run down some of the numbers from the opening 12 minutes. At the moment, Pima shooting 7 of 15 from beyond the arc. That's 47%. Have only shot 4 field goals from inside the arc and made 3 of them. So Pima as a team shooting 53%. That's high efficiency, but Davidson-Davie shooting 12 of 19 from the field. That's 63%. So points really at will, and two completely different styles. Tangora, the lone player to have knocked down a three for Davidson-Davie. That was only his third three-point make of the season. Out of the timeout, 8:35 to play in the first half, 28-25 Pima. The personnel out there on the floor for the Aztecs, it's Graham, Hill, Hunt, Green, and McKenzie. Huff crosses for the Storm. Man-to-man defense applied by Pima. It's Graham against Hunt, 1 against 1. Stewart. Back to Huff as he watches that shot clock go all the way down to 9. He calls for a screen from Tangora. Gets it. Now he works one-on-one against Green. Huff picks up his dribble. Double teamed is Tangora. It was against the two smaller guys on the team. Graham and Hill worked 2-on-1 against Tangora, and a foul called. It goes against Hill. That's just the first team foul for Pima. As Huff triggers the inbound with a fresh 20. Just able to get it off in time as he finds Connell Lowry. Everyone clears out. Lowry against Hunt. He picks up his dribble. Great defense from Hunt. Wilkerson collects on the pass from Lowry. Shot clock winds down. Rejected by Hunt on the right wing three. And out of play it goes. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Davidson-Davie will have a baseline inbound on the right side. Not a lot of time to work with. Great defense from Hunt. Graham against Huff. Pump fake. Huff three-pointer. Left short. Does hit iron, but Hill collects the board. Pima love to run in transition, and here they come. All the way on the opposite side. Hunt and one. Layup's good, plus the foul. And Mason Hunt acting like he's been here before. The captain of this Aztec side puts them up by a handful. It's 30-25. And we'll have his and one free throw after the media timeout. 7:41 to play in the first half. 30-25 your score, and you're listening to Pima Basketball on the Aztec Sports Network. Out of the media break, 30-25 the score, 7:41 to play before intermission. Hunt to shoot his and one free throw. And Jessica, thanks for tuning in on the Aztec Sports Network. I know it's a little different than what we're used to down in Tucson, but thanks for tuning in nonetheless and supporting the Aztecs here in Danville. A quick update from Hickory, North Carolina. The Pima women's basketball team are currently up 14-13 against Des Moines area Community College, as they are also the number 4 seed as Hunt knocks down the free throw, 31-25. So the women's basketball team playing at the exact same time we are. We'll keep you updated on that. As a turnover, Hill intercepts, almost loses it. Hunt able to get down to an knee and collect. Wide open, Green down low, and a nice feed from Hill, and an easy layup for Kai Green. Puts Pima back up by 8. This is the largest the Aztecs have led by, but this is the second time they've led by 8. We'll see if they can go up by double figures. On the opposite side, here's Huff over to Howard. Bangura. Tangora works on Green. He goes one-on-one against Kai Green. Now help defense from Graham, and it's rejected away by G.J. Graham. Pima in transition again. Fiegels over to Hill. Hits catch and shoot. Left wing three is good. Isaiah Hill puts the Aztecs up by double figures, 36-25, and the three-point shooting continues for the Aztecs. On the opposite side, Huff, he drives down low, and a whistle and a foul off the ball. It goes against Kai Green, his first personal second team foul. We've only had 3 total fouls, make it 4 total, 2 on each side. As Davidson-Davie do make some substitutions, Tatum and Wilkerson check in. Wilkerson, a pretty good three-point shooter as well, had 3 against Fort Scott. Inbound goes up top to Huff, and another off-ball whistle blown. It goes against Hunt. Both of the off-balls have gone on the guy defending Tangora, who tries to fight for position. Again, if you watched the Pima basketball team from a year ago and gave Oldham Tangora a very similar player to that. He likes the physical part of the sport. As the inbound goes to Wilkerson, Tangora again get against Hunt. He wants to go one-on-one against Mason Hunt. His dribble high, intercepted, and stolen away by Johnson. The ACCAC Defensive Player of the Year sets up a transition dunk from Feagles. Will Feagles puts Pima up by 13, a 38-25 lead with 6 minutes to go before halftime. Feagles then tips it off Wilkerson and out of play. You can hear the roar from the Aztec bench. And Pima really putting on the hurt and doing what they do best, which is go on runs and really put games to bed early. We'll see how Davidson-Davie weather the storm as the Aztecs cross the timeline with G.J. Graham. Again, 6 minutes to play before halftime. Feagles, he tries to hoist one up. A foul called. We'll see if it's in the act of shooting or not. The officials will talk about it and say not in the act of shooting, as Feagles try to get the free throw attempts. Instead, a baseline inbound for Isaac Johnson on the left side. On the A of the Jaguars print on the baseline, the Danville area also a part of the national tournament. Only way the Aztecs play them is either in the consolation bracket or in the final, as they're on the opposite side of the bracket. The officials still talking about whether or not it is free throws. All three decide it is not, and Johnson to trigger the inbound. It goes to Hunt straight away, and it's poked out of play off of Tatum. So Pima keep it right in front of the Storm bench. Graham triggers this time. Up top is Green. Over to Hunt. He works on the smaller defender as Feagles catch and shoot three. In and out, no good. Howard collects the carom. We haven't heard much of Nigel Howard in this one. We'll see if that changes. He shot 8 of 11 from the field against Fort Scott. Whatever he put up seemed to go down. He missed his first 2 shots and then went 8 of 9 as they foul off the ball. Again, Tangora forcing the officials to call something as Kai Green got hooked up against Tangora. And we have some perspiration, so the officials will send both sides to their benches. And we do actually have replay review here at Danville Community College at Mary Miller Center. So the officials could be looking at something nefarious that might have occurred down in the painted area between Green and Tangora. So it's just another wrinkle for both sides to deal with. Obviously, we did not have that in the ACCAC. Coach Peabody happy with how his side's played so far. Again, a 38-25 lead for the Aztecs. 5:39 to play in the opening half. The officials still discussing something about what happened. So the meeting of the minds taking place. That is what this delay is all about. We can run down some of the specific numbers. Tavian Tangora leads all scorers, well, at least for Davidson-Davie, with 13 points on 6 of 8 shooting. Again, he got into foul trouble against Fort Scott, so he didn't necessarily have his best game. He did have 14 points and 7 boards, but he only played 18 minutes. He's already played 15 here today, and he's up to 13 points. On the flip side of things for the Aztecs, Mason Hunt does lead all scorers with 18 points in the first half. This is a similar start for Mason Hunt that we saw in the ACCAC tournament, where Hunt just knocked down 5 or 6 threes before halftime. He already has 4 today. That doesn't include an and one, as they are looking at replay review. As soon as they know, we'll know, and you'll know. And hopefully you are staying warm. I know it is hot in Arizona today, but here in Danville we are very cold. It snowed all of last night, and the snow stuck to the ground. It was about 20 degrees Fahrenheit here in Danville. So the guys still working on adjusting. Everyone is very cold, but it is a great atmosphere inside of Mary Miller Center. We are not sitting courtside today. We're up in like a press box area, so we can't exactly hear what the officials are saying nor see what they are seeing. While we've got a chance, we can thank our sponsor for today's game. That's Chapman Automotive Group, a proud partner of all things Pima Athletics, whether it's soccer, basketball, or softball and baseball. Chapman Automotive Group, a proud partner of all things Pima Athletics. A quick look at what's going on in Hickory, North Carolina. Pima out to a 27-17 lead with 5 minutes to go before halftime there. The Aztecs women's team also a number 4 seed in their tournament as they take on Des Moines Area Community College, who is actually the number 1 seed on the men's side of the bracket. As the officials still look at what's going on and what occurred on the baseline, it was between Green and Tangora. The original call was a green foul against Tangora. The officials have stepped away from the monitor, and now they'll talk about what they just saw. Scouts, coaches, and other players in attendance for this matchup. Pima, the only undefeated team in the tournament, but they are the number 4 seed. The winner of this takes on Iowa Central on Thursday. Iowa Central played yesterday against Schoolcraft. Schoolcraft did not shoot the 3-ball well, and that's part of the reason that they ended up dropping that game to Iowa Central. Iowa Central, the 5 seed. So should the Aztecs take care of business, it'll be the 4 and 5 matchup in the quarterfinal on Thursday. So the Aztecs will get tomorrow off if they win. If they lose, they'll drop into the consolation bracket and play tomorrow. We'll also broadcast the consolation matches, but we hope that's not the case. A really long review, as we'll now hear the official ruling. And after all that, it is confirmed that it is just a common foul against Kai Green and blue basketball. So Davidson-Davie will have an inbound on the baseline with a 20-second shot clock. 5:36 to play. 38 for Pima, 25 for finally get back to playing some basketball. Mendoza checks in for Green, who picked up his second personal. That was just the 4th team foul. As Tatum triggers the inbound, and it goes to Tangora. He's triple-teamed. Mendoza straight up. McKenzie looking for the basketball. He hits back iron on the fadeaway J, and Hill emerges with the basketball. Great defense down low as Johnson races forward. He loses his footing and loses the basketball. Tangora up ahead for Tatum. 4 on 5. Defensively for the Aztecs, rejected by Mendoza, and then he slams it into Tatum out of play, and the Aztecs take over. Holy moly, what a play from Brock Mendoza. Rejected the shot and had the sense enough to slam it off of Tatum, who was on the baseline and out of play. One heck of a play, and the Aztecs take over on offense with 5 to play in the first half. Here's Hill on the right wing. He'll drive inside, then settle for a mid-range jumper and vibrate it through. 40-25, the largest lead increases to 15 for Pima. The offense has continued to stay hot, but the defense has ramped it up a notch as Howard's catch and shoot right elbow jumper is good. A 2-pointer from the mid-range for Nigel Howard. That's his bread and butter. A very similar player to Mason Hunt, who loves to live in the mid-range. On the opposite side, Hunt is fouled by Wilkerson. On the reach, Mendoza tried to find him in the painted area instead. Pima have a baseline inbound incoming. Hill to trigger. Cam Flippin checks in for Wilkerson, who picked up his third personal. And another whistle and a foul. It's off the ball. It goes against Flippin. So a good job from the Storm to sub in Flippin so that Wilkerson didn't pick up what would have been his fourth personal. McKenzie, his catch and shoot right corner three is nylon. Rowan McKenzie with another three-pointer, and the Aztecs lead by 16. Hill dives on top of a loose ball. Up ahead, Johnson, one-handed slam-a-jamma. Defense into offense, and the Aztecs lead 45-27. 4 minutes to play before halftime. What a start to the national tournament for Pima. Stewart, he drives in on a much taller Johnson. Kick out to Flippin. He's in the left corner, drives inside with 8 on the shot clock. His turnaround jumper is good. Good defense from McKenzie, better offense from Flippin. Up ahead, Johnson, he'll stop, miss it. The first one and the second one is good on the left-handed layup. Timeout, Davidson-Davie. That sends us to the media stoppage. 3:37 to play, and the Aztecs in complete control, 47-29. You're listening to Pima men's basketball on the Aztec Sports Network. And if you are looking for a video stream of this morning's game between Pima and Davidson-Davie, you can go to the NJCAA network. That's njcaa.org. The link is in the comments section. But if you want to spend your morning with me, that's totally fine as well. Good morning from Danville, Illinois, with the Aztecs ahead 46-29, 3:37 to play. After review at the media stoppage, they ruled that McKenzie's original three-pointer was a 2. So instead of an 18-point lead, it's a 17-point lead for the Aztecs just before intermission. Davidson-Davie with the basketball. Here's KT Tatum against Graham. On over to Stewart. He'll try a long three-pointer and swish it through. Again, Davidson-Davie don't shoot that many threes, but when they do, they're pretty good. As Fiegel's in transition, looks for the rebuttal three, left it short. Mendoza skies for the board, then puts it up and gets fouled. 46-32 after the three from Tatum. 3:13 to play in the first, and Brock Mendoza to the free throw line to shoot 2. That's Tatum's first personal, as his first is good. And that's the main difference in the interior, is that Pima is actually the bigger side compared to Davidson-Davie, but they just have more physical players that love the physicality part of basketball. The second one's a carbon copy, a 48-32 lead for the Aztecs. 3 minutes to play before halftime. Here's Tatum. On over to Stewart. His catch and shoot three is good again. That one swirls around the rim and then drops down. That's back-to-back threes for Davidson-Davie, who are down 13, 48-35. With 2:45 to play in the first. Johnson, all the way around the horn go the Aztecs. Here's Fiegels. Up top, Hill straight away. He gets a screen from Mendoza, looks for the pick and roll. Instead, it's a pick and pop. And on the step back, Jay, Hill knocks it through. And the Aztecs a half a century of points, 50-35, with 2.5 to play in the first. Just inside the arc, flipping another mid-range J from the elbow. And a rebuttal two puts the lead back down to 13 for Pima. They'd love to keep Davidson-Davie at arm's length away. Nice pass down low. Johnson finds a cutting Mendoza who slams it down with two hands. Lead back up to 15 with 2 to play before halftime. Flippin'. He works baseline and slams it off the knee of Hill out of play. We'll have a baseline inbound with 1:55 on the clock and 2 changes for the Aztecs. Hunt and McKenzie check in, and a quick change for Davidson-Davie as well as Connell Lowry comes in for Nigel Howard. Stewart on the D of Danville, printed on Dick Shockey court. His inbound goes to the corner. Tatum, hounded by Graham. He elects to go all the way back to half court and reset. Shot clock down to 8. Tatum tries to find a cutting Lowry, and they'll say it came off a fingertip, maybe a Graham, and out of play on the entry pass. So the Storm keep it on the baseline. 1:42 to play in the first half. 7 on the shot clock, though, so Davidson-Davie's going to have to work quickly. Inbound goes straight to G.J. Graham. Fantastic read. Pima in transition. Up ahead, Hill. His tough acrobatic layup is no good, but a whistle and a foul sends Isaiah Hill to the free throw line to shoot a pair. We didn't have too many fouls at the start of the ball game, but because of how the game's gone, the game's become more physical, and the officials have had to impose their will with the whistle, and Isaiah Hill to shoot 2. His first 2 free throws of the morning, as the first one is no good. You don't typically see it where the freshman of the year is also the player of the year in the conference, but Isaiah Hill just that, the 6-foot freshman from Tucson. Looks to continue where he left off in AZ and slots down the second. A 53-37 lead, 90 seconds before halftime. On the opposite side, here's Lowry. On over to Stewart. Lowry again on the left wing. Back up top is Huff, right in front of the halfway line. One-on-one against Hill. He drives in with 7 on the timer. He puts it up, no good. Rejected by Mendoza and rebounded away by the big man. Graham races across. Mendoza, his catch and shoot straight on 3. It's money! Brock Mendoza can not only work down low, but he can extend the range and extend the lead up to 19 for Pima. A minute to play before halftime. And a foul called against Hill on the opposite side as Huff tried to work on the edge of the three-point line, and Hill picks up the personal. The 5th team foul and the first on Hill, make it the second on Hill. So he steps aside, as does Graham. In comes Brown and McKenzie. So the 5 out there for the Aztecs. It's McKenzie, Hunt, Mendoza, Brown, and Johnson. For the Storm, it's Tatum, Stewart, Lowry, Tangura, and Huff. We haven't heard too much of Tangura as the entry pass to him is intercepted by Mendoza. 4 on 3 if the Aztecs hurry. Brown on the right wing. He'll slow things down. 20 seconds separate the 2 clocks. A potential 2-for-1 opportunity as Mendoza rises from the charity stripe and vibrates another one through. Pima up by a blackjack of points, 58-37. 4 seconds separate the 2 timers now as Huff drives in. His step back, Jay, a long 2 is good. 58-39 with the clock running down to 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Brown tiptoes the halfway line, gets the pass off to McKenzie. Clock down to 5. 4 over to McKenzie. 3. He's going to have to hoist one up just inside the arc. Beats the timer and puts Pima up by 21. 60-39 is how the first half ends. The highest scoring team in the country puts up 60 against Davidson-Davie, and they lead 60-39. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with a halftime update and then get you set for second half play-by-play when we come back on the Aztec Sports Network. It's currently halftime from Danville, Illinois. Welcome back inside the Mary Miller Center. 60-39 your score as the Aztecs lead against the Davidson-Davie Community College Storm. We'll take a look at the numbers quickly. Mason Hunt leads all scorers with 20 points on 7 of 10 shooting and 5 of 7 from the arc. Meanwhile, Brock Mendoza not far behind at 12 points, 4 of 4 shooting, including a three-pointer, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe as well. Some other numbers to keep an eye out on. Isaiah Hill flirting with a double-double and on pace for it, 8 points and 7 assists. Rowan McKenzie with 7 points as well. He's also knocked down a three-pointer. On the flip side of things for Davidson-Davie Community College, Tavian Tangora leads their side with 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting. He also knocked down a three-pointer. And Dane Stewart with 8 points, 3 of 3 shooting, and 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. Davidson-Davie shooting 3 of 4 from 3. Again, they don't really attempt that many threes, but when they have, they've been able to knock them down pretty well. Some other numbers to keep an eye and an ear. The field goal percentage for both sides is at 60%. So Davidson-Davie shooting 18 of 30 from the field. Pima shooting 23 of 36 from the field, including 9 of 20 from beyond the arc. That's 45% for the Aztecs. And one of the main reasons that they lead, 60-39. We'll step aside again and then come back and update you on the women's basketball side of things. That's when the halftime show continues on the Aztec Sports Network. Not much time before the second half of action gets ready to start, but let's update you on what's going on in Hickory, North Carolina, and the national tournament for the women's Pima basketball team. It's currently 32-28, also at halftime between the fourth-seeded Pima Community College Aztecs and the Des Moines Area Community College Bears. As we take a look at the numbers from the Aztecs, Kylie Sowers-Miller leads the team in scoring with 10 points, 4 rebounds. Alicia Nelson, as she usually does, flirting with a triple-double, 5 points, 4 assists, and 7 boards. As the Aztecs look to survive and advance, they were up big in the second quarter, but Des Moines Area Community College ended up fighting back to make it a 32-28 lead for Pima. Meanwhile, here in Danville, it's 60-39 with about 4 minutes to go before the second half of action, and we'll bring you the second half play-by-play right after this on the Aztec Sports Network. Welcome back to the broadcast booth at Mary Miller Center in Danville, Illinois for the 2026 Division II NJCAA National Tournament. First round for the Aztecs, and welcome back inside the arena. I'm Brian Sirk. A pleasure to have you along for this one. If you are just joining me, 60-39, your score with Pima ahead of the Davidson-Davie Storm. Just crossing our T's and dotting our I's right before the second half of action. And a quick stat to update you on in that first half to show just how good the field goal percentage was. Pima with 11 total rebounds, Davidson-Davie with 10 total rebounds. There just haven't been a lot of loose balls to pick up on, and not a lot of turnovers either. It's been basket after basket, but the Aztecs shooting that three ball way better than Davidson-Davie, not necessarily percentage-wise, but volume-wise, and the reason they lead. It's the starting five back out there for both sides. For the Storm, who have the basketball now going right to left from our broadcast position. It's Stewart, Tatum, Wilkerson, Tangora, and Howard. Tangora works down low on Mendoza. We'll get you the five for Pima when they get possession of the basketball. Rejected by Mendoza. Rebound goes to Hill. The five for Pima, Hill, Hunt, McKenzie, Mendoza, and Johnson. As Mendoza has it in between all defenders, misses the bunny, fights for possession against Tangora, and a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Aztecs, who will take over. We knew it was going to be a fight for Pima. They just had to be up to the challenge against a physical Davidson-Davie Storm side, and so far they have, as Johnson has it right wing. He drives inside. Back up top is Hill. Screen from Mendoza all the way over to McKenzie on the far side left wing. He'll step back. Long two is what they'll call it. Hits back iron in the top of the backboard. And Davidson-Davie will come the other way thanks to a out of bounds. Still 60-39, a slower start than the first half, where both sides scored points in the opening minute. 45 seconds into it, still no change to the score. Howard, he'll rise against Hunt from the charity stripe. That doesn't fall, and Mendoza collects the board. Good box out against Tangora. Hill will cross the timeline. Johnson finds a cutting Hunt. He works on Tangora and uses his body and kisses it off the glass. 62-39. Pima up by the largest lead of the game so far. Wilkerson on over to Stewart. Tangora. He'll try his luck again from beyond the arc and splash home another. Three-pointer goes down, 62-41. In fact, it was a long two. His foot was on the line. Johnson cuts inside and then is fouled by Howard in the act of shooting on a pass from Mendoza. And two free throws incoming for Isaac Johnson. Again, Tavian Tangora came in with just two makes from three-point land. Thought he originally doubled his season total. Instead, it was a long two. 62-41, a minute and a half played here in the second half. Isaac Johnson to the free throw line, shooting two, and his first is good. Johnson, the conference defensive player of the year. Pima really swept the conference awards. Also a first-team all-conference member. Him, Hunt, and Hill rounded out the all-conference members for the Aztecs. Mendoza, an honorable mention as Johnson misses the second. Rebound goes to Lowry, and the Storm come the opposite way. Lowry spins inside on McKenzie, floats it up and drops it down. A lead back down to 19 for the Aztecs, who look to weather the storm. Hill directs traffic all the way left wing. Johnson fakes the pass, then back up top. Hill, his catch and shoot three. It tickles the twine. Isaiah Hill from beyond the arc puts Pima back up by 22. The three-point shooting continues to be the difference here this morning. Inside, Tangora, he works between Hill and Mendoza, and a foul called. If that's on Hill, that's his third. It looks like it will be, and it is. Isaiah Hill picks up his third personal. And it sends Tavian Tangora to the free throw line. Tangora, as we talked about, a physical body down low for Davidson-Davie in that first game against Fort Scott as he misses the first. He played 5 minutes in that first half only because he picked up two fouls and then sat until the second half as he knocks down the second. A 21-point lead still for the Aztecs, 66-45, 2.5 minutes played of the second half. He looks to body up Tangora. In between him and Lowry, he puts it up and drops it down again. Mendoza puts the Aztecs up by 23, keeping Davidson-Davie at arm's length away for the time being. Wilkerson All the way left wing, now drop down low to Tangora. He uses his body against Mendoza, and he goes tit for tat against Brock and drops down another tough layup down low. Physical play between the two centers as McKenzie brings it across. 68-47, 3 minutes into the second half. Hill uses a screen from Mendoza, dribbles it off his foot. McKenzie almost saved it. It ends up being a turnover for Isaiah Hill. And Davidson-Davie will come the opposite direction. Again, the Storm going right to left across our broadcast position. Pima going left to right as Hill checks in for Hill. So G.J. Graham out there as the point guard instead of Isaiah Hill, who does have those 3 personals. The fouls really started to rack up at the end of the first half as Lowry drives baseline on Hunt, and a foul called against Mason Hunt. The first half, the officials really let the guys play. Here in the second half, they're being more strict on how much contact both sides can apply as Howard comes in for Wilkerson. Dre Huff also out there for the Storm. 16:45 left in regulation, 68-47. We did have a replay review on a hard foul from Green against Tangora in that first half. As Huff's inbound goes to Stewart. Back to Huff, left wing. Back to Stewart, left wing. Good ball movement here. Sets up Tangora down low in between 4 defenders. He hoists it up, no good. Nigel Howard then finds it in his hands and floats it up and down. If the Storm are to come back into this one, they're going to need Nigel Howard, their leading scorer, to get things going, especially from the mid-range and beyond. On the opposite side, here's Johnson. Over to Graham in the right corner. He works on Huff, gets a step in on him, then finds a cutting Johnson who uses the finger roll, no good, spins off the front of the rim, but Brock Mendoza there for the second effort to drop it down. 70-49, 3.5 minutes played to the second half. Huff, he works on Graham, over to Lowry. Straight away, he carried turnover forced by Graham, the best perimeter defender that the Aztecs have, especially in the guard position. Graham, kind of a bulldog defensively, forces the turnover, and KT Tatum checks in for the Storm. The 5 out there for Pima. It's Graham, McKenzie, Mendoza, Johnson, and Hunt. For Davidson-Davie, it's Wilkerson, Howard, Tangora, Tatum, and Huff. Graham gets the pass off to McKenzie. Over to Mendoza, left wing. He jab steps, waits for a pass, dribbles on over to Graham. Dribble handoff. Graham just gets the pass off before traveling. It's McKenzie in the left corner. Mendoza looks to go one-on-one against Tangora and does, but a little too strong on the layup attempt. It hits back iron. Tangora clears for Davidson-Davie as Huff in transition, rejected off the backboard by Mendoza. Pima come the opposite way on the counter, and Johnson kisses it off the glass and through. Pima back up by 23 with the clock rolling, 15:30 to play in the second half. 72-49 your score as Tangora tries a 3 and drops it down the bucket. So now he does double his season total for three-point makes. 72-52 as Tangora extends range. 5 minutes played to the second 20. Johnson baseline. Picks up his dribble, finds McKenzie, fakes the pass, and drops down a three-pointer. Rowan McKenzie says, whatever you can do, I can do better. And the three-pointer puts Pima back up 75-52. Wilkerson, his right wing 3 is rejected out of play by Hunt. And that sends us to the first media stoppage of the second half. More of the same for the Aztecs, who lead 75-52 with 14:43 to play in regulation. You're listening to the NJCAA Division II Men's Basketball Tournament on the Aztec Sports Network. Out of the timeout, 75-52, Pima lead over Davidson-Davie, the 13 seed. The Storm looking to figure out how to stop this high-potent offense from Pima. 14:43 to play in regulation. We do have the chat available to you on the Aztec Sports Network. If you want to interact with me or your fellow fans, all I ask is that you are respectful to both sides, whether you're rooting for Pima or rooting for the Storm, who come from Thomasville, North Carolina. So if you are tuning in from North Carolina, welcome out on East Coast time, not as early as it is on West Coast time. The Pima fans tuning in at 8 a.m. local time. It started at 7 a.m. local time out in Tucson, Arizona. For us in Danville, 9 a.m. was tip. It's currently 10:11. So thanks for spending your morning with us. The winner of this game faces Iowa Central on Thursday. And if you do have any problems with the stream, let me know. I'll have it fixed as the inbound from Howard is tipped out of play by Johnson. Only 2 seconds come off the clock. The Storm keep it on the far side in front of the fans. Howard inbounds to Tangora. He works against Green, who has 2 personal fouls, make it 3 as Tangora able to get a step on Green in the painted area, and it sends Tavian Tangora to the free throw line to shoot 2. Tangora with 22 points, only 3 rebounds, but 9 of 14 shooting. He also has knocked down 2 threes as Hill returns. He replaces Johnson. He also has 3 personal fouls. So something to keep an ear out on is that Green has 3 personals, and as does Hill. As both free throws go down, make it only the second one drop. So 75-53 your score with 14:30 to play in regulation as Hill finds a wide open Fiegels from the left corner, and it splashes on down. Will Fiegels on the catch and shoot 3. 78-53. A lead of 25 is the largest we've had here this morning. 14 minutes to play. Wilkerson defended by Graham, who picks his pocket. Hill and Graham work in transition, and a take foul by Wilkerson. As Hill does lay it up and in, it does not count as the foul occurred before the shot. And an inbound play on the far side in front of the NJCAA logo here at the Mary Miller Center at Dick Shockey Court. Hill to trigger. The 5 out there for Pima. It's Hunt, Green, Hill, Fiegels, and Graham. As the inbound goes to Hunt to add 20 first-half points on 5 3-pointers. Hill, his step back left corner 3 is no good. It's tipped by Howard. Green saves it and bounces it off Howard, and Pima keep it. Great hustle from Kai Green as the long rebound ended up on the baseline. It would have come off his fingertips. Instead, he bangs it off the hip of Howard. And a timeout from head coach Brian Peabody sends us to another media stoppage. 13:59 to play. Pima up by its largest lead, 78-53. We'll be back in a minute on the Aztec Sports Network. If you missed any part of this broadcast, you can always go back and listen. We'll keep it on demand on the Aztec Sports Network. Out of the timeout, 78-53 your score with 13:50 and counting left of regulation as Fiegels' catch and shoot 3 is no good. Rebound goes to Tangora. 78-53 Aztecs as the Storm crossed the timeline with Dre Huff. Tatum. Inside goes Tangora. Back up top, catch and shoot three. Straight away from Stewart is good. His 4th-3 of the game, and he's keeping Davidson-Davie Storm at least afloat for the time being as Graham, hounded by Huff in the backcourt, does cross midcourt. Hill over to Hunt. His catch and shoot right wing three is off back iron. No, long rebound to Huff as he crosses midcourt quickly. He works on the Euro step against Graham, and a blocking foul. A late whistle could have been a travel. Instead, it goes a blocking foul's way as the Pima fans that did make the long trek out to Illinois are not happy with it. Instead, it sends Dre Huff to the free throw line. Graham picks up the personal, and Huff can cut the deficit down to 20 as he drops down the first. The hit's front iron, but drops anyway. Mendoza and Johnson come in. Green and Hunt given a breather. The good news for the Aztecs, and what was kind of worrisome to start as the second one goes down for Huff, it's a 20-point advantage, 78-58, is that a little concerned if Brock Mendoza got into some foul trouble, or any of the bigs, both Green and Mendoza got into foul trouble, what's going to happen? Who's going to guard Tangora? But so far, both have been able to defend without fouling as Hill able to get a screen from Mendoza. His pass down low intended for Graham is tipped out of play by Howard, and a baseline inbound upcoming for the Aztecs with Hill to trigger. In between the A and the N on the Danville baseline as Fiegel's catch and shoot left wing three is no good. Left short, and Stewart collects the board. We're going to have a replay review as the rebound was collected by Stewart, but Tatum might have got poked in the eye by Hill. So we'll have another replay review. We had one in the first half, and here in the second half, hopefully it's a little quicker. The last one took about 10 minutes to eventually make the ruling. That is, again, something that's different from conference play and the national tournament, is that the officials can review. Thanks to all the technology that is available to them, thanks to Danville Area Community College. And so far the trip, Pima left on Friday, spent Saturday just getting their feet under them, a couple of practices, and dribbling on this court in particular, making sure that they are familiar with what's going on and what the court feels like, and then went bowling as a team. And then on Sunday was the busiest day. Went out to the Veterans Center here in Danville and got to have a nice breakfast and associate themselves with some of the local veterans around the area. And then after that, around 2 p.m., went to the retirement community who absolutely love the Pima Community College Aztecs. Pima visit every year that they make it to Danville, and the locals at the retirement home definitely appreciated that. If you've seen the social media posts, they made cookies for each one of the players. Pretty cool atmosphere here in Danville, as they'll say no foul at all. Will continue to play as is. 78-58, 12:46 to play in regulation. And the five out there for Davidson-Davie: Huff, Howard, Stewart, Lowry, and Tangora. For Pima, it's Hill, Hunt, Johnson, Mendoza, and McKenzie. 20-point game with the Aztecs ahead as Huff drives down low. Back up top on the right wing is Howard. He drives in on Hunt. Good defense from Hunt, forces the pass off to the left corner to Lowry. He works on a smaller Hill who forces the fadeaway J, but Connell Lowry with his frame able to drop down the fadeaway jumper. Lead as full court press applied by the Storm. Pima love when teams go to the full court press, as they can really run in transition because of it, as they settle into a half court set with 12 to play in the ball game. As Hill puts up his left-handed hook shot, no, rebounded away by Howard. The Storm can cut this to 16 or even 15. As Huff between the legs, Tangora faked the three, drives in on Hunt and tries to jam it over to the top, hits back iron, no good, and Johnson emerges with the basketball. Pima have And no numbers, so they'll wait for the cavalry to arrive. All the way around the perimeter, left wing three, nylon! Rowan McKenzie from the left wing puts Pima back up by a blackjack, 81-60. Huff over to Stewart. Just when you thought Davidson-Davie was going to come back into this one, Pima stretch lead even further as Tangora's hook shot's no good. Great defense from Mendoza, who runs the floor, gets it wide open, and a two-handed slam at Jamma. Brock Mendoza puts Pima back up by 23 with 11 minutes to play. Huff behind the back. He'll rise, a long two, left short, a rebound Johnson. This is when things can spiral out of control. McKenzie, his transition three. Back iron, no. Mendoza collects the board, bounces it back up. Hunt gets it, and Pima slow things down. He'll catch and shoot from the right corner. Left it short, another long rebound, another O board for McKenzie, who does get the second effort to drop. 25-point lead for Pima with 10.5 to play. Tangora spins inside, double teamed. His hook shot is no good, but a foul called against the Aztecs. It goes against Mendoza, and it sends us to a media stoppage. A much-needed one, as Pima have really taken control of this ball game once again and lead 85-60 with 10:27 to play on the Aztec Sports Network. Out of the timeout, 10:27 to play, 85-60 the score, with the Aztecs ahead, but free throws incoming for Davidson-Davie as Tavian Tangora eyes the rim and banks it off it to drop down the first free throw. The personnel for both sides, quickly for Pima, it's Grain, Johnson, McKenzie, Hunt, and Hill. For Davidson-Davie, Tangora, Howard, as Tangora drops down the second free throw, 85-62. The other three players, Wilkerson, Tatum, and Stewart, as Pima turn it over in transition on an alley-oop attempt for Johnson. It ends up being a turnover. Johnson steps aside. Graham comes in for him with 10:20 to play. Wherever you may be tuning in from, thanks for joining me on this Tuesday morning for basketball as Tangora gets it inside. He works down low on Hunt. His kick out pass to Howard. He sets up a three from Nigel Howard, and he drops down the trifecta. 85-65 the score, and the full court pressure from Davidson-Davie sets up a foul as Hill got the inbound. A foul 94 feet away from the basket just about. Make it 84 feet, but we are halfway through the second half exactly. 10 minutes to play, 85-65 Pima. And the full court press applied still by Davidson-Davie. Pima worked against full court press extremely well in the regular season, and here they come. Mendoza across the timeline, able to retrieve the pass from Hill. And Pima will slow things down, set up an offensive set. Coach Peabody and Graham call out the play. Over to Hill. Mendoza works on the low block against Tangora. Banging bodies. Mendoza inside. He gets fouled by Tangora. And Brock Mendoza heads to the free throw line to shoot two. Clock stops at 9:39 to play in regulation. And Mendoza takes a couple of dribbles and hits that back iron he was eyeing. Score remains 85-65. Make sure you follow the Pima Aztecs on social media so you'll be updated as when the next game is. It's currently slated with how things are on Thursday at 6 p.m. local time. We'll let you know if that changes. 9:30 and counting remaining. 86-65 as Mendoza drops down the second, but then quickly the other way, a two-handed slam by Tangora. And then it's stolen away on the full court press. Davidson-Davie with another opportunity at some points. Down 19. Tatum. He drives in behind the back, intercepted by Hunt, able to read it. Pima don't have the cavalry to go quickly. Now they do. Graham will instead tell everyone calm down and send it on over to Hill. He gets a fake screen from Mendoza. McKenzie on the top of the key. Hill eyes the shot clock, slows things down once again. 10 on that same clock as he is able to find Graham. He thought about the three now. Up top, Hill. He thought about the three as well. He Euro steps his way to the cup and flicks it up and in on the finger roll on the left. 21-point lead, 88-67 with 8.5 to play. If you've been following Pima this year, you know they like to go quickly, but when the time calls to slow things down, they can do that as well, as Howard able to extend into a long two. It's back down to a 19-point lead. Pima just trying to go jab for jab against Davidson-Davie. Graham calls out the say just ran as a foul off the ball goes against Wilkerson after a cutting Hunt found himself in a dangerous spot. Appreciate the kind words, Daniel. Thanks for tuning in this morning, wherever you may be tuning in from. 8:12 to play in regulation. Hill to trigger the inbound. The foul count even at 5 team fouls apiece. Mendoza atop of the key and another off-ball foul. This time it goes against KT Tatum as both Hunt and Graham were working around some screens. It's the first we see of Evan Ingram for Davidson-Davie. That's now the 6th team foul. On X1 will put Pima into the bonus for the remaining time of regulation. Hill looks for options all the way up top to Johnson. Near half court, he'll step up and find Hill on the left wing. Dribbles over to the left corner, back up top is Graham. He works against Tatum. Hunt gets the pass, drives inside in between three, misses the layup, but then Mendoza picks up the scraps and drops down with two hands. 90-69, Pima love to get to 100. They average 106 points per game. Tangura on the opposite side. He works on a low block, rejected by Mendoza, but illegally, as Mendoza picks up his third personal. Make it his second personal, and it sends us to a media stoppage. 7:36 to play, 90-69 your score. We'll be back in a minute on the Aztec Sports Network. Welcome back inside Mary Miller Center in Danville, Illinois for the 2026 Division II NJCAA National Tournament between the 4-seeded Pima Community College Aztecs and the 13th-seeded Davidson-Davie Community College Storm. And out of the break, it's 90-69 Pima as Tangora misses the first free throw with 7:36 to play. A quick update on what's going on in Hickory, North Carolina. The Pima Aztecs currently taking care of business against Des Moines. A 59-44 as Tangora misses the second as well. Things remain 90-69, 7.5 to play. And the 5 out there for the Aztecs, it's Hill, Hunt, Johnson, Graham, and Mendoza. We'll run down the Storm at the next available opportunity as Graham finds Hill, then Hunt. Thought about the 3. It's back up top, Johnson. He works on a screen from Mendoza inside the arc. Shot clock down to 4. Now to 3. Hunt will rise from the elbow and knock it down. Mason Hunt's bread and butter puts Pima up by 23, 92-69. The 5 out there for the Storm. It's Huff, Howard, Tatum, Stewart, and Tangora. Who has it now, working down low in the painted area against Mendoza. He misses the left-handed hook shot, and Pima come the other way. All the way up ahead is Hunt, who gets fouled hard from behind by Stewart. And it sends Mason Hunt to the free throw line to shoot 2. A quick rundown of some of the numbers so far today. Mason Hunt leads Pima in scoring with 24 points on 9 of 14 shooting, including 5 3-pointers that all came in the first half. As Hunt knocks down the first, 93-69. But Brock Mendoza not far behind. 21 points for the big man. 8 of 10 shooting, including the 3-pointer, and 4 of 6 from the free throw line to go along with 9 boards. Other players in double figures, Rowan McKenzie with 15, and Isaiah Hill with 13 points and 8 assists. Hunt knocks down both, make it a 25-point lead, 94-69, with 6.5 to play. Tangora, he'll try another 3, straight on. This time he left it short. And Johnson, with his athletic ability, collects the board. Up ahead come the Aztecs. Working a half-court set, man-to-man defense from Davidson-Davie. Graham with a screen from Mendoza. He finds Hill, his catch-and-shoot left wing 3, rattled down. Isaiah Hill with his 3rd 3-pointer. He's up to 16 points today. Largest lead has been increased up to 28 for the Aztecs. 97-69 with 6 minutes to play. Inside Tatum, deflected by Johnson. He gets his own miss. Back up he goes and drops it down. 97-71 with 6 minutes to play. For the Storm, Tavian Tangora leads with 28 points. As Hunt has it left wing, he drives in on Tatum. His turnaround fadeaway J is good. Just like butter, Mason Hunt's jumper from the mid-range is perfect. Tatum. Huff on the right wing. He works against Graham. Dribble drive inside. Picks up his dribble. A Euro step to the cup. He left it short on the jumper. A rebound, Mendoza. All the way up ahead. Hunt collects with one arm like a wide receiver and then drops it off the glass and in. And Pima up to a century mark of points. 101-71. Up by 30 with 5 minutes to play. Tangora. Inside against Mendoza. He spins a couple of times. Hits back iron. Mendoza skies for it. Tangora rips it away, and then up ahead is Hill, who steals it away before a foul called on Tatum. Holy moly, the Aztecs are on fire. The foul also puts Pima into the bonus. So Isaiah Hill to the free throw line, shooting 1 and 1. Mason Hunt now up to 30 points. Hill still looking for that double-double at 16 points and 8 assists currently. And the first free throw from the lefty is good. He earns another. Isaac Johnson also teetering with a triple-double. He'll have to really pick up the pace, but 9 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds. He's been stuffing the stat sheet as Hill drops down the second as well, 103-71. 4.5 to play. Howard. His pass intended for Lowry, deflected by Hill into the arms of Johnson. He gets it back to Hill, races across midcourt. His cross-court pass to Graham, collected inside, wide open. What a beautiful feed from Graham to Mendoza, who used his two hands for safety. 105-71. What a performance from the Aztecs so far. 4 minutes to play as Lowry spins and gets bundled into by Graham. And out of play it goes as head coach Brian Peabody empties out the bench. The returners did the job. The sophomores that were here a year ago, Johnson, Mendoza, and Hunt, showing the new guys what it's like to be on the national stage as a new five is introduced by the Aztecs. Fiegels, Olivares, Green, Brown, and Tippett. 4:01 to play. The Aztecs up by 34. What a way to introduce yourself to the national stage with a masterful performance. This is what we've seen from the Aztecs all season long as Howard's three at the end of the shot clock hits iron but does not fall. Pima race in transition. Green. Cross-court pass, Fiegels. Olivares wants it. He gets it. Hounded by Flippin. Gets the pass off. Fiegels, his runner no good. Howard collects the board. The Storm want to run the other way with Davidson-Davie. Howard, he loses out. Stolen away by Olivares. 3-on-2 of Pima Hurry. Olivares will stop, pop, hit iron, no good. Rebound, Howard. Stewart up ahead with 3 minutes to play. And he gets it to fall. Tough layup up against Tippett. He kisses it up high off the glass. 105-73. 3 minutes to play. Fiegels inside, able to put Huff in a blender, but he doesn't finish. Neither does Green on the second effort. 2:40 remaining. Stewart. Pima just looking to put this game to bed. It's already out of reach, just doing the formalities of watching that clock bleed dry. And we have a foul called against Mason Tippett. And Dane Stewart to shoot 2 free throws when we come back. 105-73, Pima over Davidson-Davie. 2:32 to play. We'll be back in a minute on the Aztec Sports Network. (105-73) with 2:32 to play. Dane Stewart shooting a pair of free throws for Davidson-Davie, who will fall into the consolation bracket. Their season is not over just yet. If you lose in the consolation bracket, then your season is over. They did beat Fort Scott pretty handily. First a game of the tournament. First one no good from Stewart. Second one is good this time around. Steph, thanks for tuning in. Aztec tough, that's for sure. As the Aztecs inch a little closer to immortality. As Olivares races across the timeline. He finds Tippett down low. He works, but it's intercepted away by Elijah Newsom. Inside, Flippin flips it up and in. He goes up and under the hoop before laying it up and through. 105-76 the score. 2 minutes remaining of the second round of the national tournament as Green can't finish at the dish. And it's cleared away by Colin Burgess. We'll run down the Storm a lineup as well. It's Flippin, Newsom, Mays, Kaus, and Burgess. As Davidson-Davie turn it over on a pass into their own bench, they also emptied out the 5. And out comes Tavian Brown. 100 seconds remaining of this matchup. Fiegels, wide open three-pointer on the dribble. Nothing but nylon. Will Fiegels puts the cherry on top of the cake. 108-76, and the threes continue to rain down on a snowy day in Danville. Pass down low and up and in on the teardrop floater from Adrian Mays. Just over a minute remaining. Fiegels tiptoes the baseline. Now it's Green all the way around the horn. Olivares will step into a 3. Off the rim, no good. Green battles for possession and able to get it. Offensive board, another set for the Aztecs as Olivares drives in. His floater, no good. Tippett collects another offensive board. This time it's outside Fiegels. Too strong. Olivares tries to save and into the hands of Burgess this time. He runs the floor, gets fouled, and one. Colin Burgess, coast to coast. And the second personal on Mason Tippett will have a chance at one more for Colin Burgess, the 6'1 freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina. A really fun week of basketball. The best teams in the Division II ranks of junior college all making the trip to Danville as the free throw is no good. Tippett collects the board, and Pima will have one final shot if they choose to do so. Shot clock and game clock separated by 11 seconds as Brown finds Green. Olivares able to hang on. He finds Fiegels in the left wing. He'll rise up for a 3. No good. Rebound Burgess. And that should just about do it. 108-80 is how this one ends, with Pima getting their legs under them and avoiding the upset early. They'll face the 5-seed Iowa Central on Thursday night. And we'll have that broadcasted to you same way we did today, with an audio-only broadcast, 6 p.m. local time, 4 p.m. Arizona time. Before signing off, want to say thank you to first you, the listener, for tuning in on the Aztec Sports Network, waking up early, having your morning coffee with us to tune in for the Aztecs men's basketball opening round of the NJCAA Division II tournament. I'd also like to thank the entire NJCAA staff for allowing me to broadcast this one. A nice spot in the broadcast booth, allowing me to sit amongst the broadcasters perched up high above Dick Shockey Court. So thank you to everyone who made this possible. So once again, your final score. Pima 108, Davidson-Davie Community College Storm 80. I'm Ryan Sirk saying so long and see you Thursday night from Danville, Illinois. And have a great rest of your Tuesday wherever you may be at. And so long, everybody.